Welcome to TruPowur, home of the most powerful marketing tools, training, and technology on planet Earth. Get ready to earn, enjoy, and experience more than you ever dreamed was possible. If you're tired of just getting by and ready to really thrive, then buckle in and listen up. Here's your host, Matt Fox.
Welcome everybody. It is June 12th. We're almost halfway through the month, 2021. So we've got a really good day for us today, talking about some of the things that we do after submitting for an audit. So let's take a quick little look at the agenda. And so what we're going to do is talk about what we do after submitting the bill for the utility audit, which is pretty straightforward, I think, by now. Entering a commercial customer into the back office, reviewing matrix rates and sorting that information, and then, of course, creating a custom proposal for that customer. And then at the end, we'll finish up with a Q&A session.
Let's have a look at how to access matrix rates and the process for sharing those rates with your customers. To access the daily matrix rates, please select View Today's Rates. Notice that it says Today's Rates. That's because these are updated on a daily basis. Thus, rates are only held until 5 p.m. of the same business day. Once you arrive on the rates page, you'll see options to adjust a few inputs, such as effective date, usage, and margin. After making these adjustments, make sure the price to compare information is entered correctly. The price to compare is your customer's current rate to compare against the day's available rates. This is used to calculate savings. If you are reviewing a contract that is already in the dashboard, price to compare automatically populates. As you scroll down, you'll notice the best 12-month, 24-month, and long-term plans are displayed at the top of the page with the best of the rest down below. Filtering tools are available to help you further customize your results. You may notice some of the plans are displayed in different colors. This is due to the customer's load factor and the supplier's minimum load factor requirement. If the customer does not meet the supplier's minimum load factor requirement, the rate is displayed in red. If the customer is close to meeting it, it displays in orange. And if they meet the minimum load factor requirement, green. Once you filter down to the plans that best fit your customer, you have 3 options for sharing them. Option 1 is to email the link to your customer. This option emails your customer a link to a special page where they can see the plans. They can review and sign up directly from this link. Don't worry, they will not be able to see any commission information or any of the plans you have already filtered out. With option 2, you can email the plans themselves to your customer. Using this option, the customer receives a quote in the form of an email displaying the plan you've curated for them. This option does not allow your customer to sign up directly from the link. Lastly, you can generate a proposal. This tool pulls together a professional PDF that is white-labeled for your business. You choose which suppliers, terms, and rates you would like to display, and our proposal tool generates a ready-to-share document that includes the plans you want to review, along with the estimated savings for each plan. The proposal also provides you with a 12-month budget analysis and market timing tools to help you recommend the best plan for your customer. Please bear in mind, if you email the plans themselves to your customer or generate a proposal, then you will need to log back in and click the Sign Up button on a plan to send the customer their preferred contract for e-signature.
There are the basics of entering in and looking at the different matrix rates, but we've gotten the utility bill from the customer. We've entered that customer's information into the platform. And so now we're wanting to create a proposal. So the first thing that we are going to want to do is go down and sort all of the available plans to what it is that we want to present to the customer. Now you can send multiple suppliers in that quote, my suggestion is always keep that limited down to 3 different suppliers when you're creating that proposal. But the process is pretty simple. You can filter, as we learned earlier, you can filter, what terms you want included or not included in there. You can sort it based on price or commission or long-term contracts so that those are at the top. So however you want to sort those, excuse me, and so that you can put a proposal together. So the first thing we're going to do to generate a proposal is click on the proposal. We're going to want to select all in. Don't select index, because that's what got everybody in trouble last February when the prices or the rates went crazy because of the cold snap. And then we're going to want to narrow this down. And so I think what I'm going to do is narrow this down to 60, 59, 54, and then hit next and next. And from the list, I can see I want 3 different suppliers. I can see that these 2 are the same supplier. So I don't want to do that. So what I'm going to do is click Hudson, AP, and NG, and then click next. And then from here, you have the ability to add a chart of where the market is and where it's going. You can include that chart, and you can put anywhere from a year up to 5 years of charting in there. I think 1 is sufficient. And then click generate. Once you generate that proposal, it is going to download it to your computer. And so from your computer, it will come down as proposal. I like to take and rename that from proposal to the name of the customer right here. So I'm going to rename the proposal so it doesn't read proposal. I'm going to rename it so that it shows the name of the company, so that when I attach it to an email, they're looking at a PDF that has their company name on it rather than just proposal. I think that's more professional, and they're going to be more apt to want to take a look at something that has their name on it as opposed to proposal and it looks like I'm trying to be sold. So once they get that and you email that to the customer, they're going to get a copy of this proposal. And so there are 4 pages of which you can see you have the general overview or information page. You've got the best quote page, and then what their billing is going to look like moving forward, as well as a charting page. So I want to bring your attention to this chart, though, because in a couple months, this chart's going to look a lot different, because we had this huge spike in February. The chart is getting kind of squanched down because it's taken this into effect. So it's something that happened. We can't really control it, but here in the next 2-3 months, it'll be far enough off the chart that this will have a different look. So just to give you kind of an idea, if we go back to our back office and look at market data analytics, just so you can kind of get an idea what it would look like once that goes off of the chart. And you certainly can do analytics on any territory. This particular proposal is being done in Texas, and it is with Encore, and that is in the north area. Now, if we get statistics by default, it is going to show 2 years worth of historicals, and you can see this huge spike that we had back in February the 12th. And then you can see where the market is now. Now, if you remember a month or 2 ago when we were looking at market data analytics, the rates were much, much lower. And, when you're talking to a customer, and the reason why we're calling right now is because the rates are more favorable now than what they're going to be in, say, July or even in August, until we get into September, October, and November. Are we going to see those rates decline? But in the back office, you can see this big spike, but you can narrow that down. So if you're wanting to kind of define that a little bit better, we could change this to 21. And let's go ahead and just put in at least 1 month there and then hit get data. So now you can see it cut off that big spike. And now you can see the charting a little bit better. And so once that spike goes off of the proposal there a little bit after a couple months, then this is a little bit more of what your graphs will look like back here. So we're just going to have to live through it a little bit longer, or just not include it when you send the proposal. So let's take a look at what is available on this proposal. Let me blow this up so you can see it. And so it is going to have your information on there, their company information, their usage, what they're currently paying for energy. And then it's going to have the quote comparison for fixed all in, the bid summary, and then 12 months budget analysis. So if we come down here, we can see that we've got NG and AP and what their rates are. And so when we look at this, we can see that AP is at 5.43, NG is at 5.197, Hudson is at 5.6. Now, we know that I think it was NG that was a little bit shorter term, so it was 54 months. Obviously, that's not a normal contract where it's 12, 24, 36, 48, 60 months. So this is really a sweet spot deal, but it's close enough to 60 months. I would want to take advantage of it. It's a good rate, certainly better than 5.6 or 5.4. So if we're look at that, 5.19 is going to save the customer 12.2%. This is a really small customer. And they had a fairly good rate to begin with. And quite frankly, if they would have moved on this last month, this number would be probably almost twice what you are looking at now. But still, there is savings still available. And then, of course, it is going to show the 12-month budget analysis, which is going to show what their billing is going to look like moving forward for the next 12 months. And then again, you've got that charting, which, in the next 3 months, that this spike will be far enough off the charts, then these will start to appear and be a little bit more exaggerated. This spike is actually compressing everything on the chart. So either not included in the proposal, or you may want to take a snapshot of the charting here and include that a little bit later. I probably would just cut the chart off and not worry about it right now until that's gone by, because that really doesn't do a lot for anybody to see that. In fact, that might raise more questions than answers. So making it a 3-page, I think, is reasonable. So once we've sent that to the customer, then we want to follow back up with that customer. So we've received a copy of their utility bill. It's been uploaded to the auditors. That doesn't take very much time. And then we're taking the information from that bill. We are entering it into the platform. So that information is in the system. And then we're going to create the proposal. So maybe you've spent 20 minutes putting all of this together and then renaming that proposal, to the company name, attaching it to an email, send it to the customer. I don't like to put a lot of information in there other than, you know, give me a call when you get this. I'll go over the details with you, and then immediately follow up with a phone call. So this should all be done within the hour of receipt of that utility bill for audit, because they're unaware about anything else that is transpiring. So at this point, you're going to want to really take the time to call that customer back, let them know that we've received their utility bill safe and sound, that the auditors are already underway. In fact, in the initial investigation, we also uncovered some additional savings in their electric account. I emailed you some information. When you have a chance, take a look at that, give me a call and I'll go over the details. Leave it very simple. You don't need to go into a lot of detail. We want that customer to see in black and white that what kind of savings is available. So when that customer calls back and sees that they have an opportunity to save additional money, then we want to make sure that, you know, they're going to in a position to take advantage of it. So really it comes down to a matter of, this one's pretty small, but nonetheless, it saves them, you know, $1,500 and $353 worth of annual savings, saves them additional 12% on top of what may or may not be available in the utility audit. So my question to you as the customer would be, when do you want this savings to start? Well, the customers typically don't want savings to start later. They want it now. So who is this 5.197? Well, that is with NG. And so we're going to go back over to where we have that information. And so we're going to go right here where it says 5.197. And so all we need to do, I'm not going to do it because this is actually a live account, but all you need to do is click sign up. The system is going to pull the contract for that supplier, which is NG, for that state, which is Texas. It's going to fill it out for you so there's no human error. And then it's going to send it to the customer for an electronic signature. So you want to make sure that the customer is aware that in order to do that and to be able to attach that additional savings to their electric account, I am going to send you an electronic email that will require your approval for us to apply that additional savings. Once they get that, there'll be a link in that notification where they can click a button and it will open it up so that they can sign by typing their name in there, hitting enter. It comes back. It will attach itself right back to the account that it came from. So when that contract comes back in, it is going to change the status as soon as this loads. So right now you can see it says request price. So once that comes back in, it's going to automatically attach itself right back to the account that it came from. Where's my page here? And it is going to update the status. So it's going to change the status from request price to sign. And then usually within a few days to a week, the suppliers will finalize and sign everything off, make sure that everything is copacetic and good to go. And then that status will change from signed to completed, and then now it's a commissionable event. The key here is the timing in which, from the time that you send that email to the customer and get a copy of that utility bill, whether they send it directly to you and you upload it to the auditors, or they upload it to the auditors directly. If they do it, you're going to receive a copy of it anyway. If they send it to you, then you're going to have a copy and upload it to the auditors. But once that's done, you want to immediately create the proposal, as long as it's in a deregulated market. Now, obviously, if it's not, then that's kind of where the audit stops. So hopefully that was helpful and not too confusing. So any questions at this point?
Hey, I was curious, is sweet spot deal, is that an industry-wide phrase, or is that just something that you came up with that you like?
No, it's an industry-wide.
Okay.
I'd like to think that I coined it, but no, that's what they understand. That's what suppliers understand.
I like that sweet spot. It sounds kind of fun.
Yeah. To put the proposal together so that, you can provide the customer that additional savings and take that next step in order to acquire their, electricity account. And then, of course, once that's done, what's the next step? Well, the next step would be either twofold. One, I want to go back over and talk to that customer about the additional cost centers that are available. In other words, I would call, after all of that was done, then I would probably do one of two things. I would call the customer and either try and get them a much better rate on their natural gas if they use natural gas, and or I would let them know that the audit is progressing well, but I see that there are some additional cost centers that could potentially increase the amount of the refund. Well, what do you mean? Well, we have the utility audit underway for your electric account. Let me ask you, do you use natural gas? Well, yeah. Do you have water and sewer? Of course. Waste removal? No, that's all handled by somebody else. Okay, telecom, wireless. And so you can kind of go down through the shopping list, so to speak, and say, well, any or all of these additional cost centers have the potential of increasing the amount of the refund. And so now we did change the email a little bit so that the customer can upload a copy of their bill. So they can either email you a copy or they can upload it themselves. The benefit of them uploading it themselves is it gives them an opportunity to talk about their business from their point of view, rather than my interpretation or your interpretation as to what that business does or how they do business, which is usually taken from their website, about us page and copy in a paragraph. So we have an idea as to what kind of widget they either manufacture, or they're an office building, or they're a franchise, or whatever it is that business does. But having them giving them an opportunity to where they can upload the bill themselves is going to expose them to the other cost centers, where they're going to look at it and go, oh, wow, these guys do more than the electricity. Or I want to see what happens with my natural gas, water, and so they're going to already be a little bit more privy to some of those other cost centers. Now, something that you will see come about here shortly over the next maybe week or two, just to let you know, is for customers who have an accounts payable and AP spend of over $1 million a month, we are going to be also adding in a virtual card process. So what does that mean? Well, a lot of companies use a credit card to pay their suppliers and their vendors. And so one of the things that they do is they may use like a Capital One card where they get 1% back on everything. And so that becomes a nice little, revenue stream or kickback for the company to get some of that money back. And if they have, huge amounts to spend, that can add up. Here's the thing. most companies typically have no more than 10 to 15% of their AP spend that they have access to be able to do that with a credit card. And so with this new process that we are going to make available for customers, it will actually bring that AP spend up to 30%. So more than double what they currently have available. And rather than just 1% back, it will rebate back 1.5% of the 1.7, which means that leaves a 20 basis points with the delta for continued revenue stream for, i.e. you, the agent and or broker, on that side, but they need to have at least $1 million a month in AP spend. So that doesn't mean that they're already spending $1 million on a credit card currently. They just need to have an AP spend of $1 million a month. So that could be across everything. So there's a lot more of those that are out there than you think they are. So that's going to be really fantastic to be able to have that virtual card system in place, which will also give us some additional revenue streams. So we'll go more into that as we start to release that information and kind of clarify a little bit more and walk through that process. But I think that's going to be, something that can afford some good value for the customers, as well as for your revenue stream as well. So that's a good thing. Hey, I appreciate everybody's time today. Have a great weekend. Look forward to an awesome week next week, and God bless everybody. Talk soon.